This video is going to be about my stages of change and my self-improvement mentally. This is going to get pretty deep, as much as it can, I guess, but let's just get started. There's 5 stages of change that I've outlined in this that I think everyone has to go through in order to come out the end with good mental health and all their goals clearly outlined for the future and all that stuff. So the first stage of change is building bad habits. So the first step of this is actually hurting yourself, and it's very bad. But let me just get into it. So March break of 2020, I was just addicted to video games and neglecting my school. Typical high school student stuff, you know. But on that March break is actually when the pandemic hit, and we were all locked inside for the next like 8 months, or well, that's at least I was. So what I ended up doing and spending my time doing during that time was playing League of Legends pretty much all day. I was focused on becoming a pro gamer or a Twitch streamer. None of that is ever going to happen because that was just a stupid dream that I had, that I didn't realize the amount of time and work that you have to put in to actually get there, and it's not really a consistent way to be successful, and it's more of a luck thing. I was neglecting my mental health, my physical health, school, and family during this time. I saw it as an opportunity to play as much as I want, and over this time I molded my brain to my addiction. Every minute not playing felt like an eternity. So building bad habits is like changing your brain, and the more you do of these things that isn't going to be productive for you, you're actually telling your brain to change in a way that makes it more desirable to do these things, because your brain doesn't know what's good or bad habits. It's your own decision to decide that, but it will build habits for you no matter what. So during this time, I spent a lot of months just getting up, playing League, and eating noodles, and yeah, that was pretty much just my whole daily routine. I would go to sleep late and wake up the next day and repeat. During that summer of that year, this is when I was just completely into the bad habit stage. But I used to be running up the stairs all the time, just like trying to get up the stairs as fast as possible. And I got myself into a really bad accident, and I tripped on my way up, and I tore my leg open pretty badly. I remember the first time I looked at it, I was about to pass out because I just didn't think that it would be that bad before I looked at it. But that was a really bad day. I ended up going to the hospital and having to get stitched up and stuff. But what that did to me was that I was kind of bedridden for about 2 months, and I didn't really feel like doing anything crazy physical. So I ended up watching a lot of anime on Netflix in my bed, and I got myself into that, which isn't completely a bad thing, but it is a bad habit when you're spending your whole day watching anime and playing video games, right? So that was something that kind of it hurt me physically, but it also hurt my mental health because it gave me an excuse to kind of delve deeper into these habits that I just kept building and building every single day at this point. And once I hit the next school year, that year after the summer, I started grade 11, and I went into this year with the worst possible mindset you could have for school. That whole year was online school, and I would spend all my days still doing the same stuff, but this time I actually had extra responsibilities that I was just neglecting, and I was kind of just blowing off my online school, and I ended up actually failing 4 classes that year because I gave up at a certain point for most of them. And the classes that I did pass, I had bad grades in, and I was just kind of coasting through them and just hurting myself every day, building these bad habits and wasting my time. It was a struggle with my mental health every day, knowing that I should be doing my schoolwork but still making the wrong choices. I failed half my classes in grade 11, and by the end I was so ashamed of what I'd become. I set myself behind for the next year, and I needed to change. This is the third stage. It started around July of 2021, and I finished off grade 11, and I was in the worst state I've ever been in my life. During those, I remember those like the 2 months that were really hard. Yeah, that was just really not a good time in my life, and I was struggling to find my purpose, and I didn't have a clue of what I would be doing in the future, and I was just kind of losing hope. And you know, I don't want to say I have depression, or I was actually I think I was depressed during that time quite a bit, just because I was losing hope and I was getting myself into bad habits that even worse than just the video games and stuff like that, not being productive all day. I was kind of just hurting myself a lot there and being destructive because I was just so in pain of the shame that I brought myself. But this all had to change because going into grade 12, I failed 4 classes in grade 11, so that meant that I had to work really hard this year to even pass high school on time. And that was something that really lit a small fire under me. That was the first little thing that got me thinking that I should be changing the way I'm behaving on a daily, right? So during the summer between grade 11 and 12, I moved in with my mother, and I started taking an English course online so that I could catch up a credit. And that was actually a really good few weeks. I spent just focusing on getting as high of a grade as I can on that course, and of course actually finishing it, because I hadn't done something productive or meaningful like this in a while, in like a few years at this point, because I was just so unproductive every day. But this was something that really helped me get going to where I am now, and it was kind of like a small win that kind of gets you motivated and ready to go for the future. So when I finished, I ended up actually completing that course, and I got my best English grade ever in high school on. So I was proud of that, and I knew I knew I was motivated to do more, but I just hadn't had a clear idea yet of what I would be doing and how I would make my life better and happy on the long term. So this was a really good win, and it put me into the right mindset to seek knowledge and to get better. And so during that summer, I actually found Hamza on YouTube, and this guy is crazy inspirational. I'm sure he's helped out a lot of you guys too, because I'm sure a lot of my viewers come from him. But yeah, so I found Hamza on YouTube, and I remember just spending like 2 to 3 weeks of that summer just spam watching all of his videos, trying to learn as much as I can. And this is what really started to get me into the growth mindset that I have today. And I just remember that time, it was so inspirational. I was getting ideas for what I want to do and actually starting to figure out my purpose, which was amazing. Also, during this summer, I started focusing on my physical fitness, and so I started going to the track to run because I knew I had to lose some body fat or else I wouldn't be happy with myself. So I started picking up cardio. I actually made a journal for running, and every day I went to the track, I would try to get more laps in. And so this was something that really helped me like intrinsically motivate myself for other things. And actually, my first video I made was while I was out at the track running some laps. It was a really bad video, but I'm glad I did it because it got me started to where I am today, right? So that summer it was the start of my fitness journey, and it really started building good habits. This is stage 3, so this stage 3 is starting to build good habits, and also having the realization at the start that you need to change. Okay, so this is the 3rd stage of self-improvement. Now, from August to now, this is my resurgence. So, I have never been more happy in my life. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been more happy in my life than the last few months. I've made so much progress with my mental health and just getting to where I want to be in the future. So, I've successfully built good habits at this point, past stage 3. I've put in the work, and I've built in good habits that I can use to see out my plans every day. I know what I have to do now, and I grind every day. This year, I will turn around my credits by taking extra classes so that I graduate this year. I will upload to this channel consistently the whole time, and my skills and productivity gets better every day as I achieve my goals. So, from now to the future, this is like stage 4. I've kind of already built good habits, but I'm not at self-actualization yet. I'm not 100% who I want to be right now, but that's a good thing. So I already have good habits, and I'm just working every day to get closer and closer to self-actualization. Eventually, I will be self-actualized. I predict in, about no longer than a year, I think I'll be pretty happy with where I am and just hungry to go further, Sometimes it takes a hard fall to see clearly. You have to crawl before you can walk, as the old saying goes. It gets worse before it gets better. You won't always see around the corner, but that doesn't mean you should just throw in the towel. Going through these stages is extremely uncomfortable and stressful. Just remember that the first step is the hardest. If you push through the discomfort, you will get better at handling the stress eventually. And you can move on to bigger things once you've conquered your fears. So, this really explains the whole stage process. That at stage 1, you're kind of just in your comfort zone, and you're just spending all your time in your comfort zone, and you're not really doing anything that's going to get you anywhere. And then stage 2, you're just doubling down on just staying in your comfort zone, and it's actually starting to damage you more and more. And eventually, stage 3 will hit you. You'll have the realization that you need to change, or else you'll never be happy with yourself, and things need to get better. And then stage 3 is also starting to see around the corner, starting to build good habits, but it's not exactly there yet. But once you hit stage 4, you definitely see around the corner, just like I do today. And you have good habits, and you have a clear vision of where you're going in the future. A very important part of this process is to unplug yourself from constant stimulation. I don't have AirPods or anything else like that because I enjoy thinking with a clear mind when I'm out. I use this time to reflect on myself and think about new ideas. Most people these days are plugged in from morning to night with no time to think about what matters. This thinking time is what you need so that you can go through these stages yourself and change your life. Plus, when I do listen to music, I enjoy it 10 times more. 70% of teens today own AirPods. If you have the discipline to unplug and think, then you're setting yourself ahead of so many people. I walk around my school and see other people in my demographic, and even just people in their 20s and 30s, but past that, it's kind of just past the trend. But most people in modern life have AirPods walking around on all the time, And a lot of people that I know, they're constantly plugged in, listening to music or whatever, not really focused on thinking for themselves at all. And I think this really damages them a lot. I think I was actually like that in stage 1 and 2 when I was doing my bad habits. I was constantly playing video games or watching anime or YouTube, and I wasn't watching YouTube to learn anything. I was just watching YouTube to be entertained and not really thinking. So what, like, you won't really even get past stage 2 or 1 until you start thinking for yourself and unplug for a bit. This is some high-level mindfulness in your daily life, and you won't be able to handle this unless you have something to focus on. Try to accomplish something with your thinking. A lot of the good ideas I get are when I'm thinking like this because I'm trying to solve a problem. So, yeah, like when you don't have a clear idea of your purpose or what you want to be doing in the future, then it's way harder to be doing this and thinking introspectively about your goals and what you want, because you have no idea what to think for, kind of. So yeah, you really won't be able to do this until you hit at least stage 3 in your self-improvement, just because you don't even have a clear idea yet until you've hit that. Overall, I would never have learned so many things about myself and changed for the better if I didn't stop to think and unplug. So if you think you are plugged in too often, then you should ditch them while you're out. Honestly. When you're walking around, you don't need music, okay? Just use that time to think about what you're gonna do next. You know? Like when you're walking somewhere, just think about what you're gonna do when you're there. Or think about what you're gonna do later today when you get home. It's all up to you. Even past these stages, even once you're in the later stages, every day is still going to be a struggle, okay? Every day, in order to get meaningful progress out of it, it's always going to be a struggle, no matter where you are in your stages, okay? So, today was a struggle to be productive. I was hitting mental blocks with writing this video, and I chose to distract myself for some time. What I did to get out of this was, I just stopped. I paused the video and I just sat there and thought about what I should be really doing today and what I should be focusing on. And then I was like, okay, I have a question. I have something that I'd like to learn with this time that I have this morning. So I was thinking about YouTube sponsorships and getting my foot in the door a little bit more in that idea. And I started researching on YouTube about how they work and how to get them and all that stuff. And I learned some things, that you don't need to have a huge channel to get sponsors or anything like that. So that was some valuable time that I used to learn something. And what you do after this, once you've already been productive, kind of like a minor productive instance, right? I'm not really making anything, I'm not doing anything, but I'm learning something. And it motivated me to actually write down some more ideas for this video. So it got rid of my writer's block and I continued finishing the video. And then, yeah, just once you get started, then you just kind of get the ball rolling. It's very important that you know how you work and how to get yourself motivated for the rest of the day. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one that can change the way you're thinking at the time and can really make a lasting change on your mindset at the time. So you need to learn what works for you and learn what motivates you to get going for the rest of the day. Because like I said, I was wasting my time for a good portion of the day already, and I did not feel like continuing doing that. And the only reason I had the resolve to actually do something productive today was because I've already built up enough good habits where there's less friction involved in doing these things daily now. Well, that's pretty much all I got for you guys this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to see more. I'll be uploading consistently for a while. So Hope you guys liked it. Hope you found some value in this video. I hope you can kind of identify what stage you're at right now and kind of use this video, what my experience is working through these stages, as a guide to kind of help yourself get through to the end. And anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. See ya.